the more you think about it, you take time, and time is money, so you're losing. So that's why entrepreneurs advise us not to think too much about risks. We rather manage them as we go, or we plan for them. You can plan for risk. You can, for example, say, okay, let me buy a Frisian cow to give me milk. And I'm going to sell this milk to the community around me. Then there could be a possibility that this cow can die from the diseases. There could be ticks, there could be, so many animal diseases that could take away this cow. So to manage this risk, because you already know that there could be a possibility that this might happen, you can go for insurance. You go to insurance company, you pay a premium, you say, okay, if my cow die, are you going to compensate me? So they give you compensation. We are now saying you're managing a risk. Okay, you are anticipating that something might happen, but if it happens, what should I do? If you are running, for example, we have this show going on, and it's relying on electricity. We are saying we plan this show knowing that, okay, electricity is on, because REG has assured us that electricity will be on. But you never know, electricity can just go. So that's why we have a standby generator to generate electricity in case it goes off. That is managing a risk. That's trying to say, okay, what if this happens? Do I have an option B if option A fails? So that is risk management. So we are teaching you this because we know after you graduate, even before you graduate, you can do small businesses as students. You can start, you can talk to your school management. Probably you start a canteen at your school. If you start a canteen at school, you can be making juice, expecting the students are going to be thirsty because it's, they are always moving up and down, so they like things to drink. So you can say, okay, let me produce juice so that I can say. But sometimes there could be unexpected events. There could be, for example, rain coming and it's cold and people are not interested in juice. And then you lose money. That's a risk. So you should anticipate and say, what if this happens? I should buy a fridge, so that when juice is not bought on that very day, I keep this juice in the fridge so that tomorrow I can resell it. There could be also preservatives. There are things you put in drinks so that they can stay longer. You can even unpackage them. So you are anticipating a risk, but you're also putting measures to say, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. So we say, don't avoid risks, because if you avoid them, you never start a business, you never invest. What we tell you, risks are not your enemies. Risks are friends. They are bridges that take you from where you are to where you're going, but you have to manage them. But if you fear them, then you will not start anything. So fearing unknown, we have covered that. Fearing unknown limits us to take next steps and progress. So if you fear the risks, then you're going not to be a good entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs don't fear risks. They manage them, they mitigate them, they plan for them. So there is a big relationship between risk and investment. Actually, economists say the higher the risk, the higher the returns. Yes, in quotes. So that's why we say the high risk takers, they end up gaining more, but there's also a possibility of losing more, of losing a lot. So you have to balance, you have to weigh, you have to kind of weigh the risks involved and the opportunities or the returns that are expected. That's why you have, before you invest, you have to first calculate your risks. But of course, with a return, you first see what are the returns. So you say, if I buy this Frisian cow, and I'm going to sell milk 15 liters every day to my community, to around my community, and then you're going to get money this much. Immediately you first say, okay, that's only when everything goes right. But if things go not as expected, how can I go? So you can be say, okay, if I sell 50 liters and I get probably say 10K, 10,000, if you get it that day, then you need to save for a risk. Because if you eat it or you use it immediately, a risk is coming when you're not prepared. The cow can fall sick, and then you don't have money to go to a veterinary service. So you can lose the cow because you didn't plan for the risk. But if you know, okay, this is the money I'm getting, but I'm planning for risk. Even in our lives, we plan for being sick. That's why we buy meat well. Because we believe you can't be all the time well, energetic, and free of disease. Because everywhere there's diseases, there are bacteria, there's infections. So you have to always plan and say, what if this happens? What should I do? What am I going to do? So that's why we say investments, they are like twins with risks. They're always going like a brother and a sister. They're always linked. So you cannot separate risks from investments. Everywhere you invest, there is a risk. Okay, business don't have same risks. Some have much more, others, they have relatively to their returns. So that's why we say risk is a bridge between where you are and where you're going. So it's just taking precautions on how you pass on this bridge, but anyhow, you have to pass the bridge so that you go to chase your goals. But on the way, if you're planning a journey, you may say, I'm taking this plane or I'm taking this bicycle, but what if it slips? That's why you put a casque or the helmet on your head. It doesn't mean you are fearing accidents or what, but you're saying, what if your motorbike falls down? That's why you have to do the helmet thing. You put a helmet so that you anticipating. Every day we carry umbrellas. We are not sure that rain is coming, but you never know. You just carry your umbrella. You guys have phones. Sometimes we carry an extra battery or you carry a power bank because you never know. You can be somewhere where there's no even charging ports, and then you have to use this. That's management of risk. So investment and risks are always packed, or they are packaged in one box. So you are not going to separate them. What you're going to do is to manage them. So the fear of loss makes us fear to take action. This is very important. The fear, the higher, like in this classroom, we may not have the same level of fear. You may fear ×2. Benja may fear ×3. Yvonne may fear ×15 times. Then the fear is relative. Some people don't fear, others fear a lot. So if you tell them to do something, to put a seed, say, what if I plant my seeds and there's no rain? So they will always fear. But we have seen some people who just plant their seed, and when you visit their gardens, you find everything has dried. But they tell you, we knew it's going to happen, that's why we reserved some for eating. So that if they don't produce, at least we can have a surplus that we kept aside to really come to our rescue in bad times. So that's why we said we have to balance the risks and rewards. How do we balance? Always say yes, I'm gaining this, but also the loss expected could be this much. So let's talk about the story of Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam has been owning a small business, buying and selling biscuits in his hometown. The money he used to build this small business was his personal savings. Remember, we covered savings in previous sessions. And donations from his parents. After 5 years in biscuit trade, Sam realized that his customers liked his biscuits so much and were demanding more biscuits. His stock started running out and he did not have enough capital to purchase a big stock. Sam is presented with an opportunity to grow his business. But of course, Sam, if you see this picture, what do you see as Sam's risks? What could be risks for Sam? Because Sam is organizing a small business selling biscuits. And these biscuits, he puts milk, he puts soya to give nutrients and protein in his biscuits so that they are very nutritious. He buys milk, he buys sugar, he buys all these ingredients. But if he wants to buy all that, like he wants to expand his business and start, because he was initially he was a trader, he was buying them and selling them. But apparently the community liked his biscuits and he wanted to make them himself. So he's supposed to get to buy sugar, buy milk. Previously, he was just buying finished products, biscuits. But now he has to make them. And he understands that for you to produce a biscuit, you need a machine. For you to produce a biscuit, you need people to mix the ingredients. You need ingredients themselves. So you have to buy milk, you have to buy sugar, you have to buy glucose, you have to buy powder, you have to buy flour, wheat flour, you mix with millet or whatever. So then you have to have people making this, and you have to have electricity, you have to rent a house, you have all that. He's thinking about expanding his business and produce the biscuits himself so that he can gain more profits because he has already customers in his community. So what do you think are going to be Sam's risks? Over to you. Eric. Ebrez.
Okay, Sam's risks are going to be...
the first risk?
First risk it will be money.
Money.
Yes, he doesn't have much.
He doesn't have much. That is already given. He has no much money. So Brez is saying Mr. Sam is having a risk of not having enough.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sam can face the challenge or risk of losing, of getting some knowledge to produce this biscuit.
Yeah, losing some knowledge.
Some skills. Maybe he can produce that biscuit and it can't be like the same of that.
Excellent. So lack of capital and skills, you know, challenges in terms, because Yvonne is saying that buying these biscuits would be just an easy thing. You have money, you buy from a big shop and then you resell at retail. But Yvonne is saying Sam is venturing into producing the biscuits himself. And in so doing, he might not do as the same biscuits as he was buying and selling. He has no clear formula on how to mix them. Yes, he can get better as he goes. But on the way, customers may taste the biscuit and say, is it the same biscuit we are buying? No. And then they can reject the biscuit. That is a possibility. There could be also a possibility that some can even do much better than the previous biscuits. But those are all risks. They are risks because it's unknown. As of now, we don't know how Sam's biscuit will taste like. You can't be sure. And in so doing, as he goes to buy this and this, he's not buying the biscuit. So customers are waiting. From the day he decided to switch to manufacturing and the day he gets the products on the market, there could be time lag, there could be some time wasted. And the customers could say, somewhere biscuit, and then they can go to another brand, they can go to buy alternatives. And by the time he brings them, he will have lost a lot of customers. That is a risk. And he has, because we said, you have to take them, you have to take the risks, you don't have to avoid them. Whatever case may be, Sam has to continue. He has just to list all those risks in his risk book, and then one by one he's going to analyze, how do I mitigate this? How do I overcome this? And he's going to produce a strategy. Maybe he can say, let me buy a lot of stock. As I try to manufacture, I'll be supplying these ones to my customers so that they keep trusting me. They don't lose hope. They don't really lack supplies. So that's why we can advise them to keep a stock. As he's trying to mix up the ingredients to make the getting capital, because Bire said, if you don't have enough capital, you can even lose the little you have, because capital is needed to be injected in the business. So if you're starting a business and you don't have enough capital, that's a big risk. So he's not going to come back to the parents and say, maybe he can say, okay, if my business start to lose capital, start to lose operating capital, maybe I'll go to a bank and borrow. That could be a solution to the capital problem. We said the knowledge thing, you can advise some maybe to, what can we advise some to do? Because Yvonne said, some might not have the required knowledge to produce like exact. Yes, Benja.
I feel like some would hire the person who made I think some would hire the person who made
the previous biscuit.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that logical? If I was producing biscuits and I was selling to Sam, can Sam come to me to produce for him?
No.
Unlikely. Unlikely. So, sorry?
He can deploy skilled labor.
Skilled labor?
Those who have knowledge about, he have skills on making biscuits, so he will take a risk of paying salary to those people who will be helping him to make those biscuits.
Excellent. But the underlying solution could be he has to do research. He has to invest in research. If you invest in research, you're going to really discover. You can take this biscuit to a laboratory, and the laboratory can determine, food laboratory can determine the ingredients in this biscuit. So they tell you there's this much glucose. If you don't have good laboratories in Rwanda, you can go to other countries. That's a risk. So you put this biscuit to a laboratory, food laboratory. They tell you how they won't tell you how they mix them, but at least they tell you what contains that biscuit, what is contained in the biscuit. So that is also mitigating risk, because if you don't do that, then the risk is high that whatever you're going to mix might not match the previous test. Okay? Then you can even add something special in the biscuit so that you improve it. So Sam is really encountered with so many risks that you listed. Is there any other risks that Sam could be, getting into? Because he was kind of safe. He was just buying and selling. So the risks were there, but they were not really enormous as undertaking manufacturing venture.
my side, I don't feel like if some wanted to start, I don't feel like if some wanted to start a business, you would face some, risks, challenges, or an extent that you might even lose the capital and the money.
Losing capital,
Yes.
very important.
Also time.
Also time.
Yes.
So Sam is looking at expanding his fortune. He's saying, okay, I have this much money. Instead of keeping buying biscuits and reselling them, and I am not even satisfying my market, I need to produce more. Sam really wants to be a big man. But as Ben just said, Sam is risking losing even the little he had. Imagine starting producing those stuff, you don't have enough capital, you are really moving into something you really not, skills, he does not master anything. So he's really encountered with a lot of risks around him, but he has to move because he does not have enough capital. If capital is not enough in business, capital is like blood. Once you get short of blood, you die. So this Sam is going really to risk even the little he had, it might disappear. We are not discouraging Sam, but we are cautioning Sam that as you want to move, think about risks and think about managing them, because we understand that you cannot avoid them.
Yes.
But you have to manage them. You have to first look for alternative. Each risk you have to tell us, what are you going to do in case this happens? In case you get short of capital, in case you buy one machine and money is done, you're going to be left with a machine, no money to purchase biscuits anymore, you don't have money for the salary, so you have to go for an alternative. Now, this takes us to the issue of funds, the issue of capital.
Yes.
The word capital is very important in investing. Capital is the investment you make, especially the initial investment. The initial capital you put in a business. There could be other operational capital that you need to re-inject in the business. But the first capital, the money you put down so that it can grow, is really first in capital. The deployment, remember the seeds you put in the soil. That is the capital. Then once it brings more beans, returns are the total amount of beans you got, the total number of beans you got, then minus the capital invested. That's when you can say profit. But capital is very important. Capital is the money you forego, you say you put on side and say, I'm investing this. This is my capital. So Sam needs capital as number one issue he has to fix to start this business. Other challenges he can manage, but you need capital, because capital can mitigate, can really fight all these other risks, because you need capital. You need money to start with, because the research, he has to pay scientists, he has to pay the laboratory, he has to buy the machine, he has to hire the offices, the factory, he has a lot to buy. And this money, there's no guarantee that he's going to bring it back. So that's why we say the story of Sam, he's in this situation, but he's thinking about growing like that. So that is a nutshell of what Sam is looking into. Sam is saying, Sam is there. Sam is this one. And he's saying, I need 3 staff, 3 employees. I need the factory, the machines, yes, to produce. But he has also to buy those raw materials, the cartons in which he's going to pack the things. So Sam needs a lot of money. But Sam, look at Sam. Sam really has not even been packaging his biscuits. He had no packaging materials, but now he has to buy the cartons and seal the product and label the product and say, maybe you put made by Sam biscuits, or he can rebrand the biscuits into a good fashion biscuit. So now, Sam decided to expand his business by producing biscuits himself. This would need to purchase machinery, hire people to help him produce and sell final products. Even delivering, you need a van to deliver the products. If they call you, I'm in the sector of Gahenjeri, Rwamagana, I am in Tumba, in Butare, in Huye, you have to go there and deliver. So you need a van to take the biscuits, or you can hire a van. But all this is money. And Sam has no really enough money, but he has a good idea and he has to make it happen.
Even advertising this product.
Even advertising, there's a lot, really. I don't know where Sam is going. Sam is really risking, but should we discourage Sam
Nah,
not to move?
because he has an idea, you gotta move.
Yes, the biggest problem that Sam has is not having enough money. And so he needs capital. So now, we are going to, the next segment is going to talk about how do we get Sam financed? How does Sam finance his business? Because remember, this topic or this session today is about introduction to investing and risk taking. And we are starting with the risk of not having enough to invest. And we are going to dive inside to see how Sam can overrun, or how Sam can overcome the risks of not having enough capital. Money he has money to buy, items, simple stuff. But if he's into manufacturing, then Sam needs to really think about it
Yes.
more than once. Thinking twice into where he's going.
Planning for future.
Yes. So now, if we pause here and ask ourselves, what could be the sources of finance for Mr. Sam? How can Sam get financed? Remember, the previous business, he was being, he was saved by his personal saving and also some donation from his family. But now, where does Sam go?
Maybe you can get a loan.
He can get a loan from
The bank.
from a bank.
Yes. Good. Yes, you can get some funds from institutions who give funds to people who have ideas.
Yes, maybe you can go to BDF to say, I am a young person, I have a good idea, because BDF can offer you, some risk coverage. They can, give you guarantees.
Yes.
They send you to a bank, and then you get the money, and then they can cover your risk a bit.
Maybe even Sam can make partnership and show his project to some people, because he see he have a risk of not having enough capital. Can make it partnership and sell shares, so they can get partners and make a strong capital. Because if they come together, there will be the more capital will be provided instead of being individual. If you see is possible.
Eric is providing a very, very strong point to say, can Eric partner with another person, interested person? Because some can be having ideas, even experience in biscuit trade. Then he partnered with someone who has no skills, who has no experience, but he has some money. So partnership is very important. Benja, do you have another option for Sam?
Yeah, I feel like Sam can also invest more.
Invest more?
Small. So you can also invest more.
That could be also an option to say, can Sam start small? But you see, some businesses, there are things you can build a house small.
What I mean is like if you've been
Ibina?
yeah, the
Okay.
bank that can give you some interest.
Yeah, okay. Maybe go to microfinance instead of going to a big bank. You can go to Credit and Saving Association, Vibina, and then you get small loans. But the point I want to make, there are some businesses in nature you can't start small. You can build a house small by putting a foundation, then you wait, then you put the structure, you wait. But can you buy a car small? Can you first buy a tire?
No.
And then tomorrow you buy a side mirror?
You need our things.
So you need cash down.
Yes.
So such a project, it's not easy for some to first buy small. It has to go together. So that's why he has to first raise capital,
Yes.
so that he can start off when he's ready. So we are saying now that Sam has options. But today we are not going to cover all the options that Sam has, because we want to go into what we call capital market. We want to cover that component. What is a capital market? How does a capital market function? Because it's a market that Rwandese need to master, that you guys need to know that not every financing will always come from a bank. Bank is a big financing source, but there is alternative. The best options could not be the bank. There could be other options that we want to introduce you to, which is capital market and stock exchange. It is an innovative, a modern way of how business get financed without getting a loan. But we are going to see how you can go to stock exchange and list your idea or list your business, and then people come and buy shares from you. Instead of partnering with anyone, you just increase shareholding, and then people come and give you money, and without pressure. Because if you got a bank loan, and then you probably can have pressure to pay back interest periodically, and at the end, principal. So let's cover Sam's options. Because you have mentioned very, very good ideas about what could be Sam's options. But today, let's zero our attention to 3 options. Borrowing money from a bank, as you said, that's option 1. Selling a bond. Now, let's talk about a bond.
What is the meaning of bond?
Yes. Bond, for the number 1, then selling stock. For a bond, governments and corporations, government and business, can issue something called a bond. A bond is a debt security. It is you giving a money to a company, directs it to a company, and then the company uses the money, they give you interest and the principal. They give you back your money with interest. So modern economies have a capital market where you go as a business person seeking capital, and the person who has savings or capital or investment, he is giving you the money, and you promise that at the end of each year or a quarter, depending on how it is structured, you're going to give him interest until you're done with interest, and then you give back the money, the total amount. So the initial capital you have to give back after you have been paying him interest. So it's like giving me 1 chicken, then every quarter I give you 1 chicken. So say, if it is you give me 1 chicken, and then I tell you I am going to make this chicken produce more, but every month or every 3 months I'm going to give you 3 chicken, and then you take them. After 1 year, I give you your mother chicken, because this chicken was producing 10. I'm giving you every 3 chicken. At the end of the year, I have given you, suppose it is every month, every 3 months I'm giving, so I will give you total 9 chicken, and then at the end of the year I give you your mother chicken. So that is the capital, the principal, That is the old chicken. Then the chicks that I'm giving you every 3 months is going to be called interest. Okay? Because I can't give you everything that I have, because remember, I am the one feeding this chicken. For you, you are just enjoying getting 3 chicken every 3 months. So I am looking after this chicken so that we benefit together. So you bring money to me. Suppose me, I am looking after chicken. So I say, I want to make a big farm of chicken, and then, but I promise, give me 1,000. Every month I'm going to give you 300. And at the end of the month, at the end of the year, I'm going to give you your total amount. So your initial investment. So now, a bond could be a piece of paper just to promise that I'm taking your money. Every quarter, every month, every year, I'm giving you back this amount. And at the end, which we call the maturity period, I will give you all your money. Okay? You give me 10,000, I produce, I give you 300 each time. When it matures, I give you your 1,000, then you go 10,000, depending on how much you gave me. So the piece of paper or the promise I give you is called a bond. So you hold it. You can even transact, you can even take it to a bank as a guarantee, you can even exchange it, you can even sell it.
You can sell it.
You can sell the bond, because this is, I'm trying to say, this is Braze's bond, Braze's bond. Me, I am Mr. Chicken. I wanted money to produce more chicken so I can sell, in the market. But I'm telling Braze that give me 10 million. Every quarter, every 3 months, I am giving you, he gave me 10 million. I'm giving you 300,000 every month.
Yes.
And after 1 year or 2 years, mostly bonds go above 1 year. After 5 years, say, I am giving you your 10 million back, but every quarter I was giving you this. So you just always get paid because they are using your capital. So you're putting your capital, he's renting your capital. You're getting every time money because he's using your capital. I'm using it. So I give you this bond to say, this bond has 3,000 every quarter, 300,000. And at the end of 5 years, I am giving you your 10 million cash.
Plus that one.
No, that one I give you every quarter.
Okay.
Yes. It is like the other 3 chicks
Yes.
that I give you, and I keep the old chicken. So the old chicken produces, I give you, if it produces 10, I give you only 3. Yes.
Where can you sell our bond?
Yes. Now, the good question from Benjamin. So now, if I give Braze this bond, me, I'm busy producing. I'm producing because I expect to give Braze some interest. So this company, if I borrowed from him, I went to a market and then I saw so many people wanting to invest in me, and I told them, I have a good project. Don't worry, I am going not to lose your money because I'm regretted. Remember this market, for you to go and sell a bond to people to give you money, they have to check your books. Is it a good company? So the regulator, it could be central bank, it could be the capital market authority. There are government authorities that check whether this person is a genuine investor. Because if he's a scammer, he will not be allowed to scam you. They will have to first check. This business wants to go to the market and sell bond, but is it a good business? Does he really keep his books clean? Is he not really, does he have a corporate governance, something like that? So, now this bond, if Braze wants, for example, to say, I am always being paid 300,000 every quarter, and I'm expecting my 10 million at the end of 5 years. But every quarter, you know how many quarters in 5 years? Braze is going to get money all the time. Remember, his money is still the same, but he's getting, yes, more money because they are using his capital.
Yes.
So now Blaise can go to Yvonne and say, Yvonne Rukia, can you give me, can you buy my bond?
Yes.
Then if she buys the bond, she can buy, remember, Blaise is expecting 10 million. He's also expecting 300,000 every quarter.
Yes.
So he can say, okay, give me 15 million.
15 million.
15 million. Then you take the bond, you take also the interest that comes every quarter.
Yes.
So they are going to transact this on a market called stock exchange. They are going to, on a capital market. Then they are going to remove Blaise, they put Yvonne. Now Yvonne is going to keep them. So after I make money, I say, when I call Blaise told me, I don't have the bond. The bond is with Yvonne. Yvonne is going to claim. Now I will ask, Yvonne, give me your account. I pay Yvonne 3 months, then she can be disinterested and say, I want to go for higher education, I want to be a PhD holder, I want to finance, but I need cash now. Because if she comes to me for cash, I say, no, you have to wait for 5 years.
Yes.
5 years.
5 years. Only now I can give you 300,000, but you have to wait for
5 years.
5 years. That's when
But they
we
also-
say maturity time. So now Yvonne can sell it to Benjamin. The time I want to give the interest, I find now Benjamin has the bond.
Yes.
Until the last time when it has matured, 5 years, who has the bond now? I give the total amount to him because you have been selling the bond.
Yes.
So it's good to invest in bonds.
What
bec-
if you want to keep the money?
You want to keep the money?
Yeah.
No, it's you are free not to you are free to keep your bond and get the money. You only sell when you want cash now.
Yes.
Because a good business is where you invest, and if you want to get out, it becomes easier. But there are some things you can invest in, and it becomes hard for you to come out. Because you can change your idea anytime. Okay? So, this is a good investment. For you that buys a bond, we call you an investor. Then this business, we say the seller, the offer of the bond. Governments always buy bonds. They sell bonds to us. Government want to build a road in Ramagana, and it has no money. So it will say, we are selling a bond of 50 billion. And then people are going to contribute small. You can buy a bond, a small bond of 50,000, another one buy a bond of, then the total amount, government will build the road, and then is going to get revenues from taxes. Every quarter they pay you. So you can have a bond of 50,000, you can have a bond of small bonds, and then you can exchange them. If you get broke, you want more money, you want money cash, you can sell it to someone else. And then for him, he is going to wait and say, me, I have time, I'm going to wait for this return. But of course, if you're expecting 10 million, you cannot sell it at 10 million.
No.
Because remember, yes, you have to discount it so that I can also benefit. Otherwise, if you don't reduce your expectation, I will not give you money now, so you solve your problem. So, we are going to discuss more about that, but let's first see what are the options that Sam has.
Yes.
So, borrowing money from the bank is the traditional option. Everyone would just think about borrowing money from a bank. Selling a bond is an option. Who sells a bond? A company or a government? But where do they sell them? Do you just call people and sell? No, you go to a market.
And they search for you who to sell.
And this
them.
market is called capital market. Because it's where the only product that is on the art market is capital.
Yes.
People wanting capital and people offering capital. So they don't go to Chimirongo to say, you have tomatoes, I have cash. No. You go to capital market, where corporations and government go to when they want long-term funds, and where investors go who want to invest in those bonds so that they can get profits. Okay? Now we go to another option, selling stock. Selling stock. How is it different from selling a bond? If some can sell stock or can sell, remember we said bond is long-term debt security. So what Brez has is a debt security. So he has a security. But this security is in form of debt. Okay? It is a debt security. Now, selling stock, what is, we call it sometimes equity security. Equity is ownership. The word equity is equal to ownership. If Sam is, for example, having the skills, having the, the knowledge, the technology, that could be something valuable. And you can say, okay, if Sam contributed this much in his business and bank gave him this much, Sam can be able to say, okay, my contribution is my equity, your ownership. So now, selling stock, how does it function? Selling some shares of his company to a members of public through initial public offer. Some can say, at the end of this company, when this company is formed, it's going to be 10 million in value. But he says, I only have 1 million. I need how many millions? 9 million. If he goes to sell shares, he's going to the market, not to give now bonds. He's not going to give the bonds. He's going to say, I need people to own with me. Give me money. What I am promising is not paying you every quarter. No, because that's a loan. A loan you give a company is called a bond. But when you give money to a company to have shares, it is not called a bond. It's called you are buying stock, like you are owning with me. So some can go to the market and say, I have a good business idea. I'm not looking for a loan from a bank. I'm not selling any bond to public. I am sharing shares. So if you give me your 9 million, 3 or 4 of you contribute 9 million, you give it to me. I buy this machine, I buy everything. So you're going to be a shareholder. So depending on how much you contribute to my project, at the end of the year, we are going to say how much do we have as a profit, how much do you contribute, and then we are going to give you accordingly with a percentage to say, okay, you give this much because I needed 9 million. 9 million could be contributed by even 50 people. Then I give you stock of, you say you own in my factory, biscuit factory, 10% of the factory you own it, 15% of the factory you own it. You know Elon Musk?
Yes.
He's the richest guy, but he does not own any company 100%. In many companies, he's actually owning less than 5%. Because so many other people have 1.1, 0.1. He is a majority shareholder, but he does not really own everything. He owns little in every company.
He's an investor.
He's an investor. So now, you guys, when you come and buy shares from this man, you are going to be shareholders. You're going to be calling me and say, how is the business going? Remember, if I sold you a stock, if I sold you a bond, you have no right to ask me how business is doing. You just wait for your interest. But when you buy stock, you're telling me, Sam, so have you bought this machine? How many employees are you having?
Yes.
Because you are like me.
Yes.
You are a shareholder. So some can sell stock. Depending on how much he wants. He can say, okay, I'm not going to sell. Let me have 56%. Then I sell the rest.
Yes.
Because he's going to say, if the total amount of the business is going to be 10 million, okay?
Yes.
I want 9 million, I already have 1 million. So my 1 million can be, for example, okay, take a piece of paper. Tell me, if Sam has 1 million and he needs 9 million to make the investment. So at the end of the investment, how much in percentage is Sam going to have? 10%? Exactly.
Yes.
He's going to have 10%, and the rest of the shareholders are going to have 90%. But some can be smart to say, hey, I don't want people to control me.
Yes.
The 10% I have, I am going to make sure no one gets 10%. Everyone is going to get 1.1, 2 points. So there are many, so that I'm the richest in the car decision maker. When they are in the room, he say, who has the biggest shares? He say, of course. Of course he has 10. And everyone has 5, 2, 3. So some can go in the market and structure his investment so that the shareholders are split into so many buyers so that he retains the power. So I was telling you about Elon Musk. He controls every business he goes in, but he has 3, 5, but everyone else has 0 point, 0 point, 0 point. So he's still the big man. So let's talk about initial public offer. Initial public offer is me offering you stock. Then you buy 10% of my company. You give me, say, 5 million. I give you 10% of my company. So every profit I get, you have 10%. Now, a stock, I also give you a certificate to say you have 10% of my company. Now you can take this paper to the market, the capital market again. Now this market is going to be called stock exchange. Stock exchange, because stock, you bought stock, but you cannot keep stock all the time. You want to sell the stock. You can go to this market and say, Yvonne, you know what? I own 10% in Bralirwa. Can you buy it? I say, how much? You tell me 50 million. Say, let me give you 45. I say, okay, give it to me. Then when this company is making profit, it's going to say, oh, who has the stock certificate? Say, hey, Yvonne sold it to Eric. Now Eric is the one getting dividends. Dividends are not interest. It's not interest. Interest is on money you lend me. Yes. But now dividend is the profit share that I give you because you invested with me.
Yes.
But something very important. When you invest in bonds, you are sure money is coming.
You are sure you're not taking it.
When you invest in stock and I make loss, then you lose.
So what about when you can lose in bonds?
But that's not happening.
The possibility of losing in a bond is not really much because if I don't give you money, like this month I have not provided you with interest, you could take me to court, they can sell everything I have to pay you. Because it's a loan. Bond is a loan. But when you buy stock, you say, I own 10% in this company. If I produce biscuit and there is no market, then I tell you, Uramba Zichi, are you not seeing the things? Are we not shareholders?
Yes, yeah.
Don't pressure me. Yeah, I'm struggling. So you have to wait. But remember, when profits are realized, you don't get interest. You get a percentage. So there is high risk in stock, but there is high returns. If Bralirwa made profits, oh, you can say, oh my God, I'm rich, because they are giving you 10% of the total profits. Yes. But when they tell you, oh, now, we have lost money, you also have to lose. So the higher the risk, the higher the returns. So now, selling some shares of his company to members of the public through initial public offer. Initial public offer is selling to the first comer. Like you offer, you say, I'm raising 9 million. If you give me 9 million, the business starts to continue. I have sold you, that's the first offer. People come to buy at the first time the certificate of stock. But when they start to exchange this certificate to other people, when I'm not aware, That's called secondary market. Primary market is where someone for the first time appears to need money, you give it to him, he goes and invests. But secondary market is where you go to exchange without me knowing. There's primary market, and this is our capital market structure. What is a capital market? A capital market is where businesses, governments raise funds by issuing stocks and bonds.
Yes.
Connecting investors with opportunities to grow wealth. So now, this capital market is a market where government and businesses go when they want money for long term. Long term is always above 1 year. It's more than 1 year. So you cannot go to capital market when you want a loan of 1 week, 2 weeks.
Nah.
You go to banks and small microfinance. But if you want, money you're going to use 10 years as maturity period or above 1 year, then you can go to capital market because you need capital. You go where they are selling capital. So people who are selling capital, who have money to give you, are called investors. And you can be company or government.
Yes.
Who sells stock or bonds? Government or businesses. Who buys? Institutional investors or individual investors. Now, we said primary market of the capital market. Capital market has 2 markets. If you want to sell for the first time, you want to sell bonds for the first time, you go to primary
Market.
you want money. So that primary market is where people who want money, they meet, and then you give me money, I give you stock, or I give you bond. A bond is a loan, while a stock is ownership. But after you go and you want to sell, you don't sell at the same market. You go to another market called secondary market. Because if you want to, you have just bought stock now, and you want to sell them, you cannot sell them in this market. You have to go to secondary market where you want to just to exchange what? Papers. You want to exchange certificates. So you selling to him is not an initial offer, is not a primary. Primary market is me selling to you. You give me money, I go and use it. But if you want to resell to another person so that I pay him, you go to the secondary market. So the primary market has newly bonds or new equities. Equity is the same as stock. Here it's a new stock, new bonds. But the old bonds where you buy and sell them, you go to in the secondary market, there is no business. There is no this person wanting money to make. It's you exchanging what you already have.
Yes.
You say, I don't know wrong. So you buy this uniform from a pad.
Yes.
Directly. From a pad, you pay. We used to pay 3,000 when I was in secondary school. 3,000 to get a uniform. But after you finish your senior 6, you want to sell the uniform. So I was buying it from the bus. But if I wanted to sell it, I don't go to Basa's office to resell it. I go to dormitories to say, because that's the secondary market, to say, do you want a uniform? Because I want transport to go home. So that is the secondary market. So that's where you exchange what you already have.
Yes.
Yes.
Exchange money for the commodity.
Yes. You can even have the machine that makes Njugu at your school. You see, I bought it from primary market. I went to the shop in Simba, I bought it, and I have it on the market. I have it in the school. I make Njugu and sell. When my time is up for school, like I've finished my senior 6, yes, I want to sell this Njugu machine. Yes. I go to secondary market and say, you are in senior 3. Me, I'm done in senior 5. I don't have where to take this machine. So can you buy it? So it keeps giving you the Njugu. Yes. If I sell it to you, that is a secondary market. Now, that secondary market, we call it stock exchange.
Stock exchange.
Stock exchange, remember you are exchanging.
Yes.
You are exchanging what you already have.
Money for
Yes.
commodity.
Yes, money or commodity, but you are exchanging, like it's changing hands, it's changing ownership. But remember, the primary market is you first time giving me your money, I use it. Then if you want to relinquish, you don't want to hold the certificate, you don't come to me when I give you your money. You go and to someone else who is interested, who can wait, and you sell your bond, you sell your stock. So these are all the equities, all the certificates, all the promises, all the security dates. But these are newly, first time, the first name they write. Because you can have a bond like this, where you have 15 names. It was initially bought by Eric. After 2 years, it was given to this. After, by the time it goes to fifth year, when it has matured, you are paying to a person you don't know.
Yes.
Because they are exchanging this in secondary market. If you go to our capital market there, you go in stock exchange, you will see people having stock of Bralwa, stock of BK. They don't want them, they want to sell them. So that when Bralwa or BK makes profit, they pay to different people. Not the same people who bought.
People, they don't know.
They don't know, yeah, because for them, they are looking for a person who has a certificate. Hey, are you the one now? Yeah, okay. Because after you buy, you go to register. They remove his name, they put the, Eric's name, and then when money comes, they give it to this person. Actually, bonds, so now, stock, they raise, they come up, they raise. If, for example, it is a season where they expect Brightwater to issue profits, then the prices for the stock are high. For example, if Mr. Rick has sold the stock and you hold the stock bond, okay? You hold the certificate for the bond. Or no, you hold the certificate for the stock. You own 10%. And then there is breaking news that Eric's business is not, producing good biscuit. You hear customers saying, what about this biscuit? Really, these biscuits are not they don't have nutritious. They are not nutritious, and they don't have, for example, they have expired. This company really, and you see this on news, like it's all over in news. And then tomorrow you want to sell your stock. You are selling 10%. Then we meet on the secondary market. Say, Yvonne, you are selling which stock from which company? Are you selling from MTN? Are you selling from? I'm selling from there. The other company biscuit. Oh, I am giving you. You are asking me 10 million. I'm giving you 2 million, because I'm going to a loss because people don't really like the biscuits. The Rwanda Food Authority, Food Safety Authority, they have withdrawn their certificate to say this biscuit is no longer on standard. It is no longer safe for consumers. Now you are still selling your 10% of the ownership of this company. Do you know what is going to happen? You're going to lose money because I'm going to give you very, very little.
Yes.
Then I say, hello, Mr. Sam, I am a new shareholder. I bought it from Yvonne. But can we really improve our business? Can we make it now compete, and can we get the certificate of food security? Can we go to, Dubai and buy new machines? Can we improve the standard? I say, who are you? You say, I'm a new owner. Where did you buy them? I bought them from secondary market. Okay. So you mean Eric has Eric has traveled, has gone to America, he has left you. Say, now I'm a new owner. So you have to deal with so many people you don't know, because they are always going to the secondary market. So then we plan, okay, can we go to buy, do machine, do this?
Yes.
Next day I call you, hello. Oh, I'm sorry, I sold my stock to Braze again. So,
Not serious.
so, no, it is. That's how business are. You take risk, you calculate, and then you can relinquish your risks you pass the risk to another person. So now we have covered the secondary market and the primary market. So that is stock exchange. So now our markets are just two. We have primary market and secondary market. The secondary market is called stock exchange. While the primary market is IPO, is initial public offer, is just for first time business. First time initial public offer, IPO. Initial public offer is the first time you are offering. It's like the first time you buy a uniform. Now the secondary market is the second time you resell your uniform.
Resell.
Like when we say land, for example, you see land.
Yes.
Land is always sold at the secondary market. No, I'm just giving you a reference, but land is not on stock exchange. But for example, when you sell me your land, do you think could that one be the primary? Because the primary person who bought, actually they never bought land, because the God sell land to anyone. But now everyone has a land title. They are selling second time. You ask who owned this land the first day in his life. They will tell you, we don't know. Those people died. I also bought from this person, also bought this. So if you continue, you will find that actually someone just occupied land and said, this is my land. So the first person never bought land because God was not selling land. So people just went and say, okay, I'm occupying this land. But now they are selling to you as if they bought land. But now when you buy land, you are buying from like the 100th person. So you are buying on a secondary market because you are exchanging land titles. But the initial buyer, the first person who bought, you cannot get him. So sometimes you go to secondary market and you can't know who bought the first from the first seller. Sometimes you don't get track of him. Because primary market is the first time. Like if now you go to our stock exchange, no, the capital market, there is no primary offer. Primary offer comes like once in a time, once in like, normally in Rwanda now, every year, government sell bonds. So periodically you can find like each year, once, government can offer and it's done. Companies coming to the market to get to sell stock, like this year, no company came. So literally there is only secondary market now. But primary market, it comes once in a year, it closes. One company coming and getting money, and then it goes to do business. Then you start. The secondary market is the biggest. This where people exchange ownership, they exchange, bonds and equities. But primary offer is the first time a company comes. Maybe a few companies are going to list again. When they list their shares and people come to buy them, it takes like 3 months, and they have finished. And then they do business, then you start reselling. So now, let's pause here and do a reflection before we do this first segment. So now, I want you to tell me, what is a capital market? What is a capital market?
A capital market is a financial market where buyers and sellers meet. People who want investment and people who give investments meet.
Excellent. People who want and people who give investment or who offer their monies to be invested, expecting a return or expecting equity, shareholding. Some people want to invest. If we go to the market, you can choose to take high risk. You buy stocks. Or you can buy a bond. To say, me, I'm just giving money. I don't want risks. So you give your money, then you wait. But remember, you don't control my business. You just wait for your money. But when you buy stock, you can call me. You can come in the meetings. You can be going and say, hey, this and that. So you can always talk to me. So now, these markets, you can tell me, can you summarize SAM's options and how they function? The first option is a loan, the second option is selling a bond, the third option is
Selling stock.
stock. So can you differentiate those three? People online, please try to do that at your own time, but you can also hear from the room how Yvonne is trying to answer the question.
Thank you. The first option was getting a loan.
How does it work?
Okay, getting a loan, maybe you can go to the bank and say a project, and tell the bank to give you some amount of money. You will pay some interest after a certain period.
Okay, then the second.
Okay, selling a bond. We have seen that a bond is a vessel of a paper that contains agreement that you will pay, that you may pay some amount. That person can give you that paper that contains the amount of money, and you will pay him after a certain period.
Okay.
And selling stock, we have seen that it is selling like shares in a company. You may have some shares in the company, and after a certain period, you may want to sell that shares. You can go to the capital market and you sell that shares like the secondary market.
Excellent. Well done. Eric, tell me, if you are an investor, between a bond and stock, where would you invest and why?
I'm investing in stock
Why?
because I am taking the risk. So you told us, yes, the more you take the risk, the more you gain. So because I want to get more profit, and I will have to take that risk. I will not avoid it. I will
Okay.
take the risk.
So Benja, tell me, what if Eric invests in stock? What is the risk he's taking?
In stock.
Because Eric said he would rather invest in stock than in a bond.
I think if Eric invests in stock, he would also face some losses. You know, a business can face some losses. But if he invests in bond, it is
Safer.
safer. He would get the money.
There's a risk, but not as in stock. But as we said, the higher the risk, the higher the return. Because Eric is going saying, yeah, after all, I have what to eat. If I lose, I lose. Let me go, and he closes his eyes and buy stock. All of a sudden you hear, oh, this company has grown and Eric is rich. When you still have your bond that pays 300 and say, if I had known and I went like Eric,
But
I
you
would
can
be
also
rich.
invest the money. You can also invest the money that you have in bond because it is more safe.
Yes,
The stock is risky.
is risky, yes. But let's now see the liquidity, what we call liquidity. Between Eric and Benja, Benja invested in bond, and Eric invested in stock. If they wanted their cash back, who can be having a possibility of getting his money back? Like suppose they want to do some other things. They are not interested now in investing, so they want maybe to go for vacation and eat their money. Who can get their money back easily?
Stocks.
Stocks, why?
Stocks, because the money is there. You just go and they give it to you. You sell your shares. You resell them to the
In the secondary market.
Yes.
You get your money.
Yes.
Then the bond.
So the bond also, you go to the secondary market. You resell them. They give you the money plus the interest that you are given on the quarterly basis.
Thank you, Brez. So now, both products are good investments. But if Eric wanted to sell now because he bought stock,
Yes.
before he buys stock, I'll first say, how is your company working? How is your company doing?
Yes.
But for Benja who bought a loan, I am sure the loan is He's coming. If we fail, we are selling his products, we are selling everything he has. So
I can sue him.
you can see him in court, you can say, but this one say, no, this is a business, we fail all together.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? So if they go in the market, and I'm the buyer, they want all they want to go for vacation, they want to leave business. So I will take more time with Eric. Say, is your business really working well? Can even search in news to say how is it working and everything? It depending on the season, but this one can sell any season because there is guarantee that money is coming. It's not too much as Eric, but at least it's coming.
You're assured.
You're assured. No, of course, you can't be assured 100% because they can sell my property and then they don't cover. Probably this company can be having, for example, if the company, if I gave a bond and this company is broke, like it has lost money,
Bankrupt.
is excellent, is bankrupt,
Yes.
they are going to sell all my assets. And they cannot cover everyone who owns a bond. Sometimes they can sell and say they fund 9 million. When people who have the bond, they are claiming 10 million. Then they are going to distribute this without full amount. And then it's done. They say, we are closing this company, we are sorry. RDB will sell the company and say, we are sorry, we are liquidating this company to pay the debtors, but the money is not enough for you, you will be patient. Then they close the company. So, but the risk is not as stock, because for stock, there's high chances of getting profit. But if a company loses, you can even make 5 years without any profit. Yes. Losing. By the time when you profit, then you. So now, this is the first segment. We are going to take a pause. But people online, you think about those questions that the people in the classroom have tried to answer. What are the Eric's options and how do you weigh them? Where would you invest if you are an investor giving capital to this company? And if you are Sam, which option? This is a kind of an assignment to you. This is a quiz. If you are in Sam's shoes, which option can you take and why? So you try to answer them in the chat room, then we can get your feedback and then we can react to them as a class at this Rep Center. So let's close a bit and take a small pause and then we are coming back covering more content. Thank you very much.
Documentaries and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.
I believe strongly that when we collaborate, you can go much further than it be workful on a new.
So I'm the director of entrepreneurships with the Ministry of Education in Rwanda.
when the
I want us
Rwandan
to
Basic
remember
Education Board
that what
and
we've
also with the
heard
World
here,
Bank for Rwanda so that
what
we
we
can
have seen
make
here,
great strides in foundational
what
learning
we
for
discussed
all
through
teachers in
these
Rwanda,
3
also for
days,
all of the learners
what we
in
heard
Rwanda.
from all the speakers should invigorate us, should re-energize us to make sure that we leave here with that dedication and commitment. And we go forth as the young child that spoke yesterday to move towards less talking and more action, as she said. So let us work together to indeed make a difference that our children will feel and their children will benefit from.
Honorable guests, it's my deep conviction that solid early education will become all the more vital as time advances. Achieving sustainable development will require our children and their own to wield every available ounce of intellectual, social and emotional intelligence to ensure that education and growth actually translate into progress for all.
turacyafite urugendo rwo kugira ngo turusheho kumva ese autism ni ese ifite turusheho kumufasha dute, ese ni gute ushobora kumenya ko umwana afite autism. Imyanzuro izaza uzabona mu cyumweru gitaha nuko mu matitisi tugomba gushyiraho option ya special needs. Iyo option ya special needs basanzwe bariga nk'isomo, ariko twifuza abanyeshuri biga special needs muri TTC bakagraduate kugira ngo bajye gusapotinga muri primary. Nagira ngo rero tubashimire uruhare mwagize kugira ngo first conference ya mbere ibashe kuba. Shimira buri umwe wese atanze ibitekerezo, nagira ngo wenda buri muntu wese atahagije disability is not inability. This annual national dialogue
will serve as a platform to reflect our progress, identify challenges, and prioritize actions to improve inclusive education. Together, we will remain steadfast in our mission to ensure education for all, leaving no one behind.
Together, we can ensure teachers are supported and equipped to fully have inclusive classrooms, empowered to educate the decision makers and leaders of our shared tomorrow.
It is a privilege to join you today for this two-day national dialogue to engage in meaningful discussions on the critical topics of inclusive and special needs in education. As we deliberate, let us remember that inclusion benefits everyone. When we embrace diversity, we enrich our education system and society. By supporting learners with disability, we'll cultivate compassion, resilience, and innovation in our classroom and communities. Let us use this dialogue as a platform to listen, share experiences, and co-create solutions. Together we can build an education system that truly embodies our values of equity, dignity, and excellence. Thank you, and I look forward to a productive discussion ahead.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board Multimedia Production Studio is on a mission to transform education through technology. With a vision to become a leading multimedia production hub, the studio is dedicated to enhancing digital learning, fostering innovative educational content, and ensuring accessible, high-quality education for all.
It will also enable teachers to improve themselves and support each other's growth. We aim to bring this program to all schools.
To achieve this, the studio focuses on developing high-quality multimedia learning materials, supporting cost-effective digitization, improving capacity, and ensuring learning continuity. By expanding broadcast channels and streamlining production, it aims to make education more efficient and widely available. The studio adds significant value by reducing costs, increasing in-house production capacity, and ensuring rapid content delivery through social media, television, and radio. From multimedia learning materials and live science experiments to edutainment programs and digital textbooks, the studio embraces a diverse range of content. Its delivery methods include pre-recorded and live-streamed programs, talk shows, documentaries, and sign language videos, ensuring inclusivity and engagement for all learners. Through innovation and technology, the Rwanda Basic Education Board is shaping the future of education, making learning more dynamic, interactive, and accessible.
I believe strongly that when we collaborate, you can go much further than it be. We're full on it.
So I'm very grateful for our partnerships with the Ministry of Education in Rwanda, with the Rwanda Basic Education Board, and also with the World Bank for Rwanda, so that we can make great strides in foundational learning for all teachers in Rwanda, and also for all of the learners in Rwanda.
What we heard from all the speakers should invigorate us, should re-energize us, to make sure that we leave here with that dedication, and commitment. And we go forth as the young child that spoke yesterday to move towards less talking and more action, as she said. So let us work together to indeed make a difference that our children will feel and their children would benefit from.
Honorable guests, it's my deep conviction that solid early education will become all the more vital as time advances. Achieving sustainable development will require our children and their own to wield every available ounce of intellectual, social and emotional intelligence to ensure that education and growth actually translate into progress for all.
turacyafite urugendo rwo kugira ngo turusheho kumva ese autism ni ese ifite turusheho kumufasha dute, ese ni gute ushobora kumenya ko umwana afite autism. Imyanzuro izaza tuzabona mu cyumweru gitaha nuko mu matikisi tugomba gushyiraho option ya special needs. Option ya special needs basanzwe bagiga n'isomo, ariko twifuza abanyeshuri biga special needs muri TTC bakagraduate kugira ngo bajye gusapotinga muri primary. Nagira ngo rero tubashimire uruhare mwagize kugira ngo first conference ya mbere ibashe kuba. Shimira buri umwe wese utanze ibitekerezo. Nagira ngo wenda buri muntu wese atahari iki disability is not inability.
This annual national dialogue will serve as a platform to reflect our progress, identify challenges, and prioritize actions to improve inclusive education. Together, we will remain steadfast in our mission to ensure education for all, leaving no one behind.
Together, we can ensure
had an interesting reflection of what we have already covered. Questions from our audience on the platform, online. Mbabazi Jose, she's asking, teacher, how can you do it? Suppose you have no degree, you are not allowed to buy from a bank or to borrow. The money you started the business came from your parents and your friends. So actually, if I try to understand Mbabazi Jose's question, she's wondering how can Mr. Sam or any other person, you have no degree, you borrowed money from the friends to start with, how can you access capital market? How can you list your products to get shares bought? How can you lend, issue a bond and then people give you money and then you pay them? So stock exchange or capital market in general, they have conditions. Not everyone can just access the market, especially for companies. For government, it becomes easier because government is an entity that is always there. They're always there, so if they want finances, for them to access the market is fine. But for the corporations or companies, if they need money, most companies go to banks because they cannot go to capital market, because capital market is restricted. Capital market is regulated. Not every company can just go to capital market and borrow money and then go and invest, because there's high risk that you can take people's money and you disappear, or you mismanage the business and then you get into a loss and then people suffer. So that's why government has established capital market authority to review who comes to the market and approve and license those who want to operate the market. So on the market, we have some entities. On the market, we have on the market, we have what we call players. Market players we have capital market participants or players. You have companies looking to raise money. On that, especially the primary market. Then you have government wanting money to invest in development projects. Then you have investors, the people, you and myself, who want to put their money down so that they can earn interest or they can get shares. So they are called investors. Then you have brokers. Brokers are the ones that are licensed by capital market to be intermediary between the investor and
the market.
The investor and the business. So they will advise you, you want to buy rich shares, you want to buy stock. So like we were discussing, they will advise you risks you're taking, so that you give them some money, so they take you through the product, and then they help you buy. When you buy, they get commission. They can even help you to sell. You can say, hello, Mr. Alex, can you please sell my shares in BK? So he's going to say, he lists them. Then the person who wants to buy, he's going to say, people are selling and how much they are asking. So you can click and say, okay, this one I'm taking. Then they buy for you. You can be just somewhere and they buy for you, they sell for you. You can say, hello, can you sell my shares today? Or you ask, how much is now the share on this? So they are experts in the market. So you have regulators. So now regulators are capital market authority or central bank, any government agents that regulates the market, to ensure there is fair playing. There's no scamming, there's no. Now, we are coming back to the question of Mbabazi Jose. She's asking, how do you do it? How do you get your business? If I go to her questions clear, how do you get your business on this market? Remember, if you apply or you have intentions to join the market, you are a Mr. Sam and you want to go to the market. So capital market authority is going to review your books, your application, and say, you want to sell initial public offer, you want to offer so that you get capital and you expand your business, you buy machinery, you buy. And you don't want to take a loan, you don't want to buy a bond, you just want, even a bond, you want to issue papers and people give you money. You must be a good business. So they see how many years you have been operating, they see who manages the business, what are their qualifications, they investigate how you have been performing over the years, how are your products liked, how the expertise you have, the technology you use, everything. So they check to be sure, because remember, government is protecting common people, you and me. Because if we just get a company that lists their shares and then we just buy, when the owners are not known, when their mode of operation is not allowed, for example, they are not complying with the environment, and then tomorrow the environment authority blocks them and say you are not doing this because you didn't follow our regulations, so you are misleading the public. Remember, this public has to trust the market. So whoever comes to the market as an investor needs to be sure that government makes sure this is a fair market. So that's why, for you to come, so many companies fail to access the capital market because they have not fulfilled certain conditions. You need to fulfill them so that you qualify to go on the market. You are legit, you are transparent, you have a clear plan, you have everything planned. So if, for example, a company just lists their shares and then you buy them, and then tomorrow you lose money out of blue, and then you go to government, how do you allow a company like this to come? And you have a responsibility to make sure where we invested. The same thing happened to banks. Banks are regulated by central bank to make sure they are not stealing customers. They are not, for example, if you put your money in a bank and tomorrow they tell you the bank is closed, we have no your money. Where do you go? You go to central bank to say, your banks has taken my money. So the central bank ensures that each bank deposits a certain amount as security. In case you run away with the money, they give this security to people who, yes. So there are guarantees, there are securities, there are regulations, there are requirements for you to be really robust requirement, robust.
But you can also sue them.
Suing?
Yeah.
Who?
Is it possible?
No, you can sue them, but they have other regulation, because remember, they get your money and lend it to another person. So suppose you come to withdraw your money and they tell you, oh, someone has not returned the money, so we don't have money. Yes, there's no money. So they make sure, central bank will tell them, make sure before you lend money, you have other monies to give. So that's how a bank can collapse. If they lend all the money they have, and then tomorrow, everyone comes and say, I want my money. Yes. So that's why there are, regulations to ensure that these financial institutions don't cheat. Companies can get your money, and then the time you call them, for example, your bond matures, and the bank and the company has not paid. So there is an authority you go to ensure they do what they promised you to do. So you don't have to struggle with them. There's an authority called Capital Market Authority that ensures the market is transparent. So whoever comes to sell their bond or issue a bond, they have to be stocks or bonds. They have to be transparent. They have to be really functioning in a corporate governance mode. So you have no worries once you go to the market, because there is a lot of scrutiny that goes into knowing who lists or sells shares or stock. You can't just go in the market. You have to fulfill certain conditions. So that's why many companies that are not working well, they are not really having a good governance, they fail to access the market. So they'll have to go to the bank, which is sometimes very expensive to borrow money from a bank at high interest rate. But the capital market, you don't have to pay anyone until you get the money. So for the bank, you can borrow this month, and next month you are paying. They don't have long term. They cannot tell you after 5 years. No, you have to pay the next month, whether you make money or not. So that's why you hear the Chamnara or those things, because there's pressure to to pay back. But when you borrow from capital market, you are easy because the people have to wait. They don't want their money immediately. That's why we call it a long-term investment, long-term fundraising. So now, another question from Niyonjira Innocent. How does activity in the secondary market affect the prices and attractiveness of newly issued securities in primary market? So he is actually asking the fluctuation of prices in the secondary market. How does it affect the newly issued securities in the primary market? So the question he's asking is that if prices fluctuate, like the activity in the secondary market, how does it affect the primary market? So if the primary market, if I'm a company, I'm offering first initial public offer, I want money, but you are an investor. You are saying, should I buy newly listed securities, or I should just go in the trade? So the first buyers, we have first buyers, and there are people who say, let me wait. You first buy, I will buy from you. Yes. So he's asking, how does the backbenchers or the secondary market affect the functioning of secondary market, affect the primary market? So remember, these are two markets. You can be trading there. Eh? Like today, there is no any initial public offer. There is no an offer in a new company offering people to buy first thing. Now, but there is a secondary market. People are buying. If you want stock of any company, you have to go to the secondary market. But remember, if a new company lists, people who are buying from the secondary market can shift to buy from the primary market, because in the primary market is where you get more profit, because you are first buyer.
You are the first in hand.
You're first buyer. Instead of buying a third person, second person, you can come directly to buy. Now the market is very busy. They are very busy buying. But now when they hear next room, they are buying new brand new, like it's a new company that has come. So many investors are shifting to buy the new securities or new bonds. And then you see that this market, the secondary market, can be affected by the primary market. Primary market can shift the trend from investors wanting to acquire the first-hand stock or bonds, other than trading old bonds, because old bonds may not have much profits, may not be so much attractive compared to the primary, because the primary, it's like kurangura. You first buy, and then you can say, you want this, you'll give me this, because actually a few of us have. But when it has changed hands, the profitability reduces over time. Remember, you can buy a stock when it is maturing in the next 2 months. Then you don't have enough period to enjoy the bond returns. So I can sell my bond when it's only having only one interest payment, and then it matures. They give you the total amount. You get? So that question, that's how two markets function. One can affect the other depending on the activity that is happening in secondary markets, especially secondary market can be diverted. Investors can be diverted from the secondary market to join the primary market to buy immediately. They go back to the secondary market. Like so, if you are buying from the first buyer, it is mostly not expensive. You can even buying from the first buyer, but buying from like the third buyers, the fourth buyer, the margin is small. But if you buy from the first buyer, people after buying from primary market, tomorrow they can immediately sell in the secondary market, and their business, the investors who are targeting that, they just buy today, they sell it tomorrow, and they also wait for the primary market to again have a new company listing, and they buy They sell to those ones and they go. You find that their nature of business is like that. For them, they only wait for the primary market to open. They buy and they sell and they wait. So they get their profit margin in that way. Then you have these professionals who just buy from the secondary market. You find someone say, me, I never buy from the primary. I am only interested in secondary market. Because in secondary market, you can have someone who has problems and say, I want to, yes, and then he has to sell at our place, then you buy. So the third question is also coming from the same guy. Niyonjira Innocent must be interested so much. Could you explain how rules of investors differ between the two markets and why both are essential for the functioning of capital market? So he's asking, the roles of investors differ between the two markets. So what is the role of an investor in those two markets? The role of an investor is just to measure the risk and invest. So he's going to give the money to corporation or government. So his role is to finance. But remember, when he's buying from the secondary market, is he financing? No. His impact is much realized when he buys from the primary market. That's where the investment comes from. But these traders, the bank bench traders or the secondary market, just trade like any other trade. They're not giving this company any investment. So the role of investors is much realized when you buy from the primary. That's where you are giving government. You people back exchanging store, you cannot say you financed the government. No, you never financed government. The first buyer, the one who financed, maybe for you are giving back their money because they cannot wait any longer. But the first investor are the ones that invested in primary market because they financed to building a road by government. They financed companies to, like Mr. Sam, to buy equipment. So we can say their role is more realized at the primary market when they buy the first offer of the bond or the securities. So with that, now we start our second segment. So we saw that our market structure, our market is structured in this way. We have primary market and we have secondary market. And this is just a kind of a recap. You find here there is a corporation. So they exchange on the primary market. The investor here, investor A, is exchanging with this company. So the company is giving securities, the person is giving, this investor is giving what? To the company. Is giving cash. The company is giving what? New
securities.
Yes, new security. Those certificates to say, okay, give me money, I also give you this. This is the first time. Like brand new security. Now, if this person go to meet this person in the secondary market, what is the exchange? What do they exchange?
The securities.
Mr. A has a certificate of security. Now he's giving security. He's giving security to Mr. B, and B is giving cash. So now they are on the secondary market. Existing securities are offered. So now Mr. B can also sell to C, C can sell to D like that. So you cannot sell, you cannot resell your stock here. You cannot resell your bond here. You have to go to another market. Because there are people who are interested in buying when you have, because the process of buying here maybe can take time, but here is very easy. You just exchange hands and then you say, what's your name? How much are you buying? Then the stock. So then this company is going to pay Mr. B because A has left. At secondary market, you just change hands. You don't call this company to say, I want to sell your shares. No. But when I check in my system, I'll say, oh, who is now the holder of a certificate? Then you pay. So now, we now understand how these two markets function. And they are very important. So companies and government, they only go to the primary market to get funds. And investors meet them there and buy. However, a company can also be here, can come to buy. Do you know companies can also buy?
You buy how?
A company, sorry? A company can also become an investor. A company can come, you know, I can be a company, my name is Jackson, I say Jackson Limited. What I go to RDB, I register, they ask me what business I'm going to do. I'm going to be trading in stock and bonds. So I go to the secondary market and say, how much are you buying? How much are you selling? You tell me you want to quit, you are buying. So I buy and wait. My company is just business is to buy and wait. And then get the interest on payment. At the end, they give me even the capital that guy had put in. So, on the secondary market, you can have companies are not seeking finance. They are also investing. They are also investing. Eric, do you get it? Yeah. So, on the secondary market, a company can be on primary market. But it can also be in the secondary market. Case Social can come and buy here. Immediately after a company offers, Case Social keeps your money, but they invest the money in businesses so that when you retire, they give you more money. Case Social, Social Security. When you are working, you give them a certain percentage of your income, of your salary, and when you retire, you're no longer working, so they pay you until you die. That's called Social Security. So now they can come and get your money, they invest here, they buy securities, and then they earn interest. When you retire, they have enough money to give you. But if they keep it like this, and then you retire, your money has lost value. So now, Social Security can buy here, they can also buy here. They can buy from individuals and then they wait, and then they get interest. So now the two markets, we have seen how they function. Now this part is what we call stock exchange. So stock exchange is different. Capital market is bigger because it involves primary and secondary. But the stock exchange is only secondary market. Okay. Now, so there are two types of securities. One is called equity securities, whereas the other one is called debt securities. So, Eric and Benja, you are interested in bonds. What you are going to hold is debt. So, for you, you'll have a certificate called debt security. What you'll be selling or owning is a debt security. But since Eric is interested in managing a company, owning a company, he's going to have stocks, equity security. Equity means something you own. Yes, equity. So it can be called equity or stock securities. So now you see, a company share can be broken into small shares, like say like a pizza or a cake. But you can sell slices. You can choose to sell 5 slices and you keep the rest. Whereas a company can just give money. This investor is giving money to this company, and he's going to wait for interest. They are not giving him any percentage of ownership. The owner still is the owner. He's not wanting to share with you the ownership. He said, give me money, I'm paying you money, and you go. You are not calling me, how are you managing the business? No. Some corporations are not interested, new people joining them. Because new people joining a business can be difficult. You can be owning a business like Sam, and then someone buys shares from me, and then he starts to say, but Sam, how do you didn't even go to school. You are illiterate. Then he starts challenging you. But when you issue a bond, he will not control you. You say, can you wait for your money? Please don't disturb me. So this person is selling shares to this lady. So she's giving a certificate of equity securities. But this woman is giving money to the company and waiting for interest. So she's not interested in owning a company. By the way, this company is not selling any shares. It's just wanting finance. Instead of going to a bank, he's saying, bank will stress me. Let me borrow from people. Yes, because from people, I tell you, I'll pay you on this time. So it becomes cheaper. But on a bank they start.
You can sue them.
You can sue them. Even bank can sue you. But at least when you're buying from the public, the interest is not much. Yeah. So on this one, you are buying ownership. You can earn profits or high stock value. By the way, you may not even earn profits only. You don't only earn profits when you buy stock. Eric has also another advantage. Even if the business has not offered him interest this year, rather profit, but you own stock, what happens is that this company may not give profits because every year a company will sit and say, do we give dividends? No, we need to invest again. Then they tell you, no dividends today. They are getting your profits and reinvesting them. Some can say, this year, Eric, you own 20%, but unfortunately, we are not giving you any profit or any dividends. We are going to buy another new machine because we have to sell biscuits to Congo. So, Eric, you'll be easy with us. We are reinvesting. You wait. Then a third year, you say, I need money, I need dividends because I own 20%, but I'm not seeing anything. They tell you, no, we are now expanding our markets to East African community. We want to buy more machines. We are hiring new staff. Please wait. But your share that was 20%, maybe 20% was like 20 million. Your share, as you wait, your share is now billions. So you may not get dividends, but your share is increasing in value. Yes. But for the bond, remember, bond will be always a bond. So you wait for your payment. Once it matures, they give you total amount, you go. But Eric is benefiting too. It can wait for dividend.
But also, like in 3 years, I'll be able, I'll have some more money in a way that Eric won't even be able to catch up.
Yes, it can be because Eric has a lot of risks. Because we can say we are selling to Congo and then there is war. And then we are not selling. Yeah, Eric can face a lot of issues. But if Eric gets profits, there are more returns. So this one, lending money to a company or government, you do not own part of the company. Here, when you give money to, you get paid on a certain date with interest. You do not own a part of the company or government. Oh, this one should have been there. This was a mistake. Less risky, but usually lower returns. You get paid even if the company isn't doing well. This one is for debt security, not equity. I'll correct this one. Now, recap. Can we summarize this recap? This recap, we want to reflect on what is the capital market and the stock market. Stock market is a place both physical and digital. This is very important. If you go to stock exchange in Rwanda, you can see people there, but there's also a digital platform. You may buy and sell anywhere you are without going to the market. So most in the world, most stock exchange markets, they are virtual. You can sit on your computer, you buy your stock, you sell your stock. You don't have to go to the place physically. Yes, you can you can be advised by your agent because the agents are listed on the website, so you can interact with them. They sell for you, they buy for you, so you don't have to move. So mostly it's virtual. When you buy a share, you become part of the company. That is very clear that when you buy a share or when you buy a stock, you are as as the same, with the same authority like the person who sold you the stock. So this one we already covered, that the agents, people that you may find, or entities that you may find on the capital market, these are main people on the market. But it depends on which market. Is it primary or second? So this is an assignment. All this, can you take a piece of paper, show me which one of these can be in the primary market, secondary market, primary market, secondary market. You just do a line and say, in the secondary market, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. And then we see, people online, you can do this assignment. Just classify the following 5 entities into the 2 markets. You classify them, and we see you can have one entity actually appearing in more than one market, but try to show me where do we have these entities. People online, you can send your comments if you have, but this one, do it on your own. Then we are going to do a correction, and then you'll see if you got it right. We're doing an assignment. Yeah, short one. So now, you haven't done. So people online, please do this assignment. And then we are doing a reflection on our answers. So let me see. Yvonne. Yvonne is saying primary market can feature the following: companies, government, individuals, regulators, brokers. Market, individuals, companies, brokers. Then Braze is saying primary market features companies, government. Secondary market features government, investors, and brokers. Then, let me see what's Eric. Eric is saying primary market can have companies, government, investors, brokers, regulators. Secondary market, investors, brokers, regulators. Benja is saying government for primary market, companies, investors, brokers, government, regulators. Okay. So we're going to do it collectively. So we are saying, so on each component, we are going to assess what is it doing in that market. If we start with companies, for primary market, what are companies doing on primary market? Raising capital? Is it correct? Correct. Raising capital. What is government doing on primary market?
Seeking for funds.
Yes, seeking for funds to build infrastructure or any other purpose. What do investors do on the primary market?
I think they buy the bonds or the stocks.
There?
I think they buy the stocks or the...
They are there to invest.
To invest and get interest.
Exactly, either on bonds or on equities. What do brokers do on the primary market?
They connect.
Support the
They connect.
They are connecting the investors and
have any
and the
information
market.
about it, they show them the right way and the way it is being done. They're directing them and supporting them.
okay. What are regulators doing on the primary market?
They suppose that to make everything is clear, is for the rule, and there is a fair, even between buyer and the seller, there's no one who has been getting in a wrong way or who has been investing somewhere that is not security. They make sure that companies that sell its shares is capable of paying back the money they have received.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Eric. Now,
Let's go to the second.
regulators are making sure the market is fair. Everyone is playing on the
their role.
Yes, their role and in a specific standard requirement. So, we go to the secondary market. What could be companies doing on the secondary market? They are only there if they are investors.
Yes.
Because companies can change the name from fund seeking or fundraising to investing. What could government be doing on the secondary market? Is there anyone who got government on the secondary market? Except what is the government doing?
Investing. Governments invest also.
Yes, governments can invest, but it's so rare for governments to go and invest. It's not common. Some countries are rich enough to have savings because many governments don't save. They don't have savings to invest. They're always borrowing, paying loans, paying interest. But some governments, a few governments in this world can save money and invest in companies, invest in stock. But mainly if they are to invest, they likely to invest in primary market, to be the first buyer. Yes, not to buy from you, small people. So it's there, but if you didn't get it, that could be also correct, because we have not seen where government go to exchange, stock and market. However, they can, if they bought from primary market and they want to get off their ownership, they can sell their stock in the secondary market. So the chances that government can feature in the secondary market is when, for example, they bought from initial public offer and now they want to sell to the individuals and they leave the market. But most cases they buy from the primary market. If they are to buy, because many governments don't buy, because they're always borrowing. Then what are investors doing on the secondary market? Mainly selling and buying, because we have old investors and we also have the old investors just changing ownership of those guarantees. Then you have regulators. What are regulators doing in the secondary market?
Regulating that the rules are followed.
To ensure rules are followed. For them, they have to be in every market.
Yes.
Because every market is regulated, strongly regulated. So now, if we go back to our first issue, risk. Now, we are seeing some trying to solve the problem of capital risk, because taking a venture like manufacturing needs a lot of money, and if Sam is not careful, he can lose even the little he had. So now, what would you advise Sam, now that we have understood how capital market function. You have understood risk and how to prevent risk and how to manage risks. What can you advise Mr. Sam to do? Yes.
On my side, I feel like I can advise Sam to like sell the stock shares and also sell the bond and get him to sell them.
You want him to sell two things?
Yeah, I say I would advise Sam to like sell the company shares.
Shares.
Yeah. And also buy the bond.
Buy the bond?
Yeah. I mean, like, is it buying or selling so that he can pay the money and he can get the money like.
You want him to? Who can make it clear for me? Yes.
Maybe I think he can't do selling bonds or buying bonds and buying stock. It's impossible. Maybe he can choose one.
No, but Sam is already in a business. You are advising him how to get finance.
Okay.
He's already in business.
Give out bonds.
Sorry?
Give out bonds for investing. Give out bonds.
To issue a bond.
Yes, in the primary market.
In the primary market,
so
the first initial offer.
Yes. So
he gets capital.
Yes.
Then he pays what?
Their profit.
When you sell a bond, what do you pay?
No. Give up bonds so they invest in him.
Who sells the bond and who buys?
Individuals.
No. Sam is going to sell a bond.
Yes.
A company.
Then to an investor is going to be an investor and he's going to buy the bond.
Buy the bond.
Yes.
And
what is Eric, but it's not what you say. But what is Eric saying? What is Eric paying? After the bond has matured, like he's going to pay interest periodically,
yes,
and also pay the principal at the maturity date. That's what you're advising him to sell a bond.
Yes.
Literally to get a loan from the people, from the public, instead of going to a bank.
Yes.
So why do you think he's more safer, or he has managed risk by? What are his risks in doing the bond?
Okay.
How is he managing the risks?
So there is not much interest. Much interest on the money.
Yes, there's not much interest and there's no much pressure.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and for a long time.
Yes.
Good. So, would you advise him to take a bond or what, Eric?
Somehow, to take a bond, I see it is a risk because somehow the business will not going well and they fail, and so the property will be sold and they stay.
Excellent. So by going for a bond,
but if we get
our purpose here is to identify risks for Mr. Sam. He can choose to take any decision, but as a broker, you just need to advise him what to do, and then he can decide by himself. You're telling him, go this, but these are the challenges. Go this, these are benefits. It's upon him to decide where to go. So you are saying, if he takes a bond is cheap, yes, but if he does not succeed because of so many other challenges, because it's not only risk, a capital that has risk, you can have market risks, you can have quality of product risks. There's a lot of risks. Then if other risks fail him, then he might lose the business because the owner of bond, the bondholder are going to come as debtors to sell the company. Then for you advising to sell stock, and can you tell me why is it good for him to sell stock instead of going to bank or selling bond?
So, I do feel like if he sells stock, it will be more safe than going to the bank and having a loan, because he will say that, okay, if I have the money for this, I will give you the share of this and this, and it will also help the company.
Okay, so he's getting money from people, and he's not having any pressure from any loan. Like there's no loan maturing, there's no payment date. He's just there. But can you tell me at least a risk he's taking?
Okay, like he's giving out too much money.
Too much money?
Like, see, every quarter he's giving out a
really? No. It is stock.
It means the profit will be shared.
Please defend your submission. Yes. What is the risk he's taking? By going for stock, selling stock, people owning like him.
Yeah. Selling too much, stock or share.
Is that a risk? I can own 3% in the company, but I still get profits. Because
yes, you can, but other people might have like 50.
Yes, but risk is something that makes you lose money. He's not losing money. Remember, he had little money. He's actually benefiting because his little money is multiplying. Even if others are enjoying, but you're also enjoying. So we can't say he's taking a risk of sharing.
What about you taking the risk of he's not the one to be the only decision maker?
Excellent. That's good, Eric. That's good. He's going to be, you remember he had a business plan. He knows how to mix biscuits. He knows where he's going. He has a vision. But now people are joining him. And people have different characters, personalities. So they can start really, Eric is going to say, okay, I've got capital cheaply, everything. There's no pressure from any bank. If I lose, they lose. But these people, I don't know where they come from. They are like forced friendship. It's like taking you and then tell you have to be friends. You have to be friends. I'm not allowing you to choose a friend. Because you have to be friends with a rich person. That's it. So you can be influenced, you can be pressured because people are telling you, well, what are you doing? They can even say, you get out, we are appointing another manager. You are a shareholder like us, we are appointing a manager. So you sit, you are also waiting for profit, for dividends. Yes. So you lose control. And if you lose control, that's a risk. Yes. After some time, you can even say, they're giving you money, you leave the business. So you start a business, you sell to people, and then after some time, they can even remove you. Because you can even remain, by the way, you can have 10% as majority. And then this one has 5, this one 3, this one 8. You are the big person. And this person decides to go. They sell it to the other one, then he is richer than you. Then they tell you, what are you doing here? One person can buy all this on the secondary market. Then by the time you call, shares are with one person. You see, hey,
he's the owner now.
He's the boss. No, for you, you are very small. Yes. So that is the risk of losing control. So now, we are going back to our initial risk scene. I want you to think of a business. I'm going to tell you 3 business activities. Then you identify for me risks associated with that. Yes. So we're having a business called Saving and Credit Cooperative. You guys, 4 of you, you are graduating and you are making a credit and saving corporation, credit saving SACCO, a SACCO. You are raising 10 million, you have 40 million, and you want to lend to people in the community so that they buy pigs, they buy chicken, they grow crops, and then they can give you interest if they get. So that kind of business model. Can you identify for me risks associated? Remember, you cannot avoid risk. You should not avoid risk. You should take on risks and manage them. You're going to tell me risks that are associated with a business of lending money to people and earning interest as a business model, and you tell me risks that are associated with it as an assignment, because I think on 7th, we are coming back here to do another session. Maybe you can offer that. All people online, you can send your answers. I identify risks associated with saving and credit offering business, a microfinance or a chibina that you make, and then your business is to lend money, and you raise capital together, and then you start lending. What are the risks associated with it? and what policies can you do to manage them. Each risk you identify, you have to identify a risk mitigating factor. What can you do to mitigate this? So that we evaluate whether microfinance or credit and saving cooperative is a good business. Because you have to weigh the risks and the returns. Yes. Remember, returns, you are going to get interest, say, on average now, 14%, 15% per year. So that could give you money, but you can't just get that money without having risks. Risks are there. So another business that you can think of, livestock. You have livestock, you have chicken, you have a chicken farm. Yes. You have money from your savings and then you want to have a chicken farm. This chicken farm, you have maybe 100 chicken, you want them to produce eggs, and you sell meat and eggs. Now, what could be the challenges or the risks associated with such a business? You identify them, and as a business person, as an entrepreneur, think of how you can manage these risks, and then you come up with a solution. If you do that, you are going to evaluate yourself. With the skills you got from this session, you can be able, because the purpose of this session was initially to understand that every business has risks. And every risk has an alternative mitigating factor. You can, if the electricity goes, you can have a generator. Because those are the things you put aside, so that when you face this risk, you bring this tool to say, okay, here I have a solution. If electricity goes, I have a generator. If generator fails, I have a budget. But all in all, I have to be seeing what I'm doing. Yes. So those are kind, but if you just go in a business without calculating risks, then everything will be a surprise to you. Yes. So now, after you identify solutions, then you can exchange amongst yourself to say, this is a viable business, this is a viable business. For a risk you have not found an alternative thing you can do, then you should not do the business. Because if you see a risk and you have no idea on how to manage the risk, if you want to what do you do in case you fall sick?
Okay, in case I fall sick, I can take some medicine, but I have one.
Yes, you can even have midway. But do you know there is a risk of getting old? Yes, one day you will get old and you can't even walk. Is there anything you can do to manage that?
Sports.
Yes, but at a certain point you have to die. Because we have, yes, even if you do what, you can do a lot, but finally you will die. Or you can be saved, you can go to church every week, or every day you pray and then God saves you. Some people invest in, they want to mitigate the death by praying. Going to, you know, and then they believe they will be saved. Yes. But there's no guarantee. To me, there's no guarantee. But for some, they believe they are going to be saved. Faith, believing, yes, believing, having faith with yourself can save. So I was trying to tell you, if you find a project and you are able to identify risks, but you try to find a solution and you can't find one, then you better not start that business. You better not continue. If some has 5 risks and he finds the risk that he has no solution to it, should he continue? No. If they tell him, if you want, for example, you want to do crops in a desert, say in Egypt, they tell you, here there is no rain. You say, I'm going to be doing irrigation. They tell you, where do you get water to do irrigation? It is a desert. There is no water. You go to find water where? You find water. If you go to find water and you take it to the place, the amount of money you spend to buy water, the cost, is much more than the yield you will get from the crops. then the risk is really not balancing with the returns. So when risks are higher than the returns, you do what? You leave it. But if you balance and find, okay, the balance is here, they are manageable. You can say, this one I'll manage. Yes. So you can be relying, for example, on electricity. But when you say, I'm going to have a diesel generator, and electricity keeps on going off, you literally use the generator the entire production. Then the production cost for diesel, you cannot get from, then you say, okay, if REG cannot assure me that at least they will supply electricity most of the time, then it means I'll be relying a lot on generator. Then this is not a viable business. So smart people can see risks coming and they can plan for them. But if they see they are not viable, they say, okay, I'm not doing this business. Especially banks, when you bring a project, they ask you about the risks and the solutions you have. If you say you are doing chicken and they ask you, what are the risks you identified and what are you going to do with them? Even competition is a risk. You can have a chicken and then you have other people doing the same and they outcompete you. So you have to tell the bank, how do you going to manage competition? Maybe you can say, I have a carusho, something innovative that will make people like my business. So those are the kind of risks. And if there's no question from the room here, we are closing from this time until next time when we meet. I remain Mr. Jackson, and I was happy to interact with you, people online. Thank you for your questions. We are expecting to get your feedback on the session. Keep your chats flowing, keep comments coming, and people in the audience, thank you for your attention. I thank you very much. If there's no question in the audience, we close from here. Thank you. There is no question. I hope we enjoyed the show. Until next time, we're thanking Reb, and we are thanking Iqbal and students who joined this show always. Thank you very much. See you.
Education updates. Your future begins now. This Tuesday, Rwanda Basic Education Board is bringing you the latest updates on learning and career pathways in secondary education. Want to know how the new subjects and learning options are shaping students' futures? Whether you're a student, a parent, or a teacher, this session will guide you through the changes and what they mean for you. Don't miss out. New education, bright future. It's all happening this Tuesday, 22 July 2025 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Rwanda Basic Education Board YouTube channel, live streaming, and you are free to ask questions through comment. Stay tuned, stay informed. Education updates. Your future begins now. This Tuesday, Rwanda Basic Education Board is bringing you the latest updates on learning and career pathways in secondary education. Want to know how the new subjects and learning options are shaping students' futures? Whether you're a student, a parent, or a teacher, this session will guide you through the changes and what they mean for you. Don't miss out. New education, bright future. It's all happening this Tuesday, 22 July 2025 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Rwanda Basic Education Board YouTube channel, live streaming, and you are free to ask questions through comment. Stay tuned, stay informed.
Abanyeshuri mwiriwe neza, amakuru yanyu, nishimiye kubana namwe kuri iki gicamunsi. Nitwa Dr. Flora Mutezigaju, umuyobozi mukuru wungirije w'urwego rw'igihugu rushinzwe uburezi bw'ibanze REB. Ndakeka REB muyizi, sibyo? Muri aka kanya rero tugiye kuganira ku ngingo ikomeye kandi ifite imbaraga nyinshi ku buzima bwanyu bw'uyu munsi ako n'ubuzima bwanyu bw'ahazaza. Tugiye kuganira ku mavugurura yabaye mu cyiciro cya kabiri cy'amashuri yisumbuye. Hari impinduka zabaye ku mashami twari dusanzwe dufite cyangwa se ibyo tuzi nka combination. Hari n'impinduka zagiye ziba ku masomo. Uyu munsi rero turagira ngo tuganire icyo izo mpinduka zivuze kuri mwebwe n'uburyo mushobora gukoresha izo mpinduka ku nyungu zanyu bwite. Izi mpinduka zifite akamaro kanini kuri mwebwe, ariko cyane cyane zigamije kugira ngo zibahe amahirwe menshi yo kwiga ibyo mushoboye, kwiga ibijyanye n'impano zanyu ndetse no kubaka ubuzima bwiza bw'ahazaza. Ndagira ngo rero nonaha tuganire ku bijyanye n'izo mpinduka, tuganire ku cyo ayo mavugurura avuze kuri mwebwe, uburyo mushobora kuyakoresha, guhitamo amasomo cyangwa guhitamo ishami bivuze iki kuri mwebwe, se murahitamo ishami gute, murahitamo isomo gute. Kandi ndagira ngo nyuma y'uko turangiza kuganira byibuza mutahana ikintu kimwe cy'ingenzi. Guhitamo isomo cyangwa guhitamo ishami ni ibintu bifite akamaro ku hazaza hawe. Ugomba guhitamo ishami neza witonze, kuko ishami uhisemo niryo rizatuma uba icyo ushaka kuzaba cyo, sibyo? Aka kanya rero reka tuganire ku bijyanye n'aya mavugurura, ku bijyanye n'izi mpinduka mu mashami n'uburyo mushobora guhitamo amasomo neza ajyanye n'ibyo mushoboye, ibyo mukunze, hanyuma mukazaba ibyo mwifuza kuzaba byo. Reka dutangire presentation. Mukurikire. Ahangaha ndashaka kugira ngo tuganire ni ukubera iki twahisemo kuvugurura amashami. Hari impamvu nyinshi twahisemo kuvugurura amashami. Impamvu ya mbere ni uko icyiciro cya kabiri cy'amashuri yisumbuye cyangwa se upper secondary, buriya ni icyiciro gikomeye cyane ku buzima bwanyu, kuko nicyo cyiciro ufata umurongo ukavuga uti niba nshaka kuzaba umuganga mfashe uyu murongo, niba nshaka kuzaba umupilote mfashe uyu murongo, niba nshaka kuzaba mwarimu mfashe uyu murongo. Ni ukuvuga ngo icyiciro cya kabiri cy'amashuri yisumbuye ni icyiciro cy'ingenzi ku buzima bwanyu cyangwa se kuri career na future yanyu. Niyo mpamvu iyo ugiye gufata isomo cyangwa se ugiye gufata ishami mu wa gatatu uba ugomba kwitonda ugahitamo ishami cyangwa se amasomo ajyanye n'ibintu ushoboye, ajyanye n'ibintu ukunda, kandi ajyanye n'icyitegererezo ufite.